Welcome to another edition of Friday Hangout. Yes, first of all, apologies. We missed out last week, and yes, we missed you guys as well. As you see, we are absolutely ready to talk about a lot of cricket. First of all, a big series, big series is coming up effective next week, and the preparation of the series has already begun with a 3-day game. We're going to talk about that as well. So, before I start talking about it myself, let me quickly introduce to you the buddies which we have joined us today. To my extreme left, we have Amartya. Hi, Amartya.
Hi, Imam. How have you been?
I've been good. Amartya is looking absolutely fresh. So, Amartya, what have you been doing all these days?
Nothing, just watching cricket, just waiting for the England series to start and hopefully get a win this side.
I didn't get the answer which I was looking for. I thought you said I was missing Hangout. No problem.
No,
Let's move on. We have Mridul. Hi, Mridul. How are you doing, buddy?
हाय इमाम भाई बस बढ़िया।
बहुत बढ़िया और इंग्लैंड इंडिया के लिए रेडी हो?
हाँ।
इतना इतना हल्का सा हाँ मृदुल.
नहीं यहाँ मतलब
Yeah,
रेडी।
ये हुई ना बात. Fantastic. And we have Pankaj with us. Hi, Pankaj. How have you been?
Hello, I'm well, a little tired because of the golf I played earlier today. But I think I'll survive, I'll manage. But to answer a certain question that you asked, Mridul, ki taiyar ho India England ke liye, I just hope that the Indian team is taiyar and ready for that series because that's going to be a tough one.
Fantastic. I think you have hit the nail on the head, Pankaj, and you've given me a fantastic cue to start off from. Guys, the series is coming up, and we all expect. Last time when we went to England, it was not the result which we were hoping for. It was a whitewash which we had to suffer. And on top of it, when England came to India, we thought we'll take a revenge, sweet revenge, but things didn't turn out our way as well. So we lost that series as well. So we are under a lot of pressure, guys, and so is England because they have lost a series to Sri Lanka very recently. So my question to you, first up, Mridul, is that who do you think is more under pressure? Is it Indian batsmen because a lot of expectations, as always, as if there are no expectations any other time, but there are always expectations. So do you think that pressure is more, or the pressure is more on England because they have not been doing so well lately? They have lost to Australia 5-0 in the Ashes, and they lost to Sri Lanka. So, what are your feelings and what are your first thoughts going into this test series?
I think both teams have equal pressure because for England their team is not performing really well. There are some new debutants and some players who has made comeback who has performed well, but players like Cook are struggling. There are various things happening around them. So England is in pressure, but if we talk about India, I think we lost final. We also lost them to in our home, so we definitely are on pressure. And if we see the practice games, our bowlers were performing really bad. So I think our batting is really under pressure to perform well and gives more things to our bowlers.
Okay, or it makes sense. So, there are a couple of things there. If you see, Mridu spoke about the batting and the bowling. So, my question to you, Amartya, I'll throw it quickly to you. Mridul pointed out that the bowling was not that great. Given that the conditions were batting the conditions were purely for batsmen to go out there and score a lot of runs as expected because the England team or the think tank will not allow the Indian batsmen to face those grassy wickets in the first half of the tournament itself or the series itself. So what are your thoughts, Amartya, the bowling with regards to the bowling, and then you talk about a little bit on the batting side. Amartya, are you there? Okay, I guess we have lost Amartya. Pankaj, I know that you're really tired and all, but we still want to listen a lot of thoughts from you. So, the same question to you: the bowling or the batting? Which one is under more pressure as per you going into the first Test match?
Okay, to begin that sort of conversation, I want to go back to something that you asked, Mridul, or rather a statement that you made that last time when India was there, we did not get the result we were hoping for. Fact of the matter is, Imam, I think you would agree. I think everybody on the show would agree that these results, every time India tours, abroad, these results are not what we're hoping for, but these are the results what we expect. A a true Indian cricket fan who understands how Indian team has been performing over the years, kind of expects, that ye hoga, this is going to happen. But obviously, we hope for the better. But needless to say, that Indian team, when it travels, it does not disappoint the fans and give us what we've come to expect from them. Having said that, the question about pressure. Well, Indians are no stranger to pressure, regardless of where they play. So obviously that is always there. But the important thing is the fact that England lost this series to Sri Lanka, another subcontinent side, and which was the first for Sri Lanka. So and knowing English media, Cook and the team would be under tremendous pressure that they lost to one subcontinent side. They should not do this again. India being the big guns from the subcontinent, right? The big rivals from the subcontinent. So they're under a lot of pressure. How Dhoni works. When you talk about whether Indian team carries that pressure with them or not, I think the way fans kind of hope for the better but expect kind of the similar performance. I think Dhoni also knows in the back of his head that if he gets a draw somehow, great, that'll be fantastic. If he loses, it won't be the end of the world because that is what is expected. That's going to happen. So I think knowing Dhoni, I think he might play smartly and just not be very verbose in the media and talk shit in the media, saying that or talk big rather in the media, saying that hum to jeet jayenge, that we'll win or something. I think he's smart. He's practical. He'll set very realistic expectations, not only from the team, from individuals as well. So I think that is a plus for India. And going into this series, I think this is a great chance for India to catch. I won't say off guard England. It's just that they're kind of down. They might not be out, but they're down. Obviously, they're raring to go. They want to prove and come back. But this is a great opportunity here. And Imam, I think you were asking me about who's under more pressure, the batsman or the bowlers. I've said this enough number of times, in so many of the shows, that every time India goes abroad, our bowlers do decently because I don't expect them to win us matches. They can give you a draw, which is fine. Whether we succeed in getting that draw or maybe a one-off victory is all dependent on the batsmen. So obviously the batsmen are under pressure. We might say the bowling isn't that strong, Zahir isn't there, Ishant is quite a dud right now. He's being heckled by fans in the practice game, so it's not exactly a great situation to be in for a fast bowler. But having said that, those sort of expectations are fine. When it comes down to that, I don't expect them to really win the game for us. But the batsmen are the ones who will either get you the draw, or if somebody comes up with some brilliance and backed with some decent enough bowling performance, I think that victory is all depending on the batting. So I think the batsmen are under more pressure.
Batsmen are more pressure. Thank you so much, Pankaj. I think you summarized it beautifully. And the fact that you said that, being so realistic, I hope all Indian fans be so realistic after all, because, somewhere down the line we tend to be so emotional, we start throwing stones at people's house, which doesn't make a lot of sense. See, at the end of the day, they are human beings, not superheroes who will win everything.
We are emotional. That's why these guys are so rich.
That's the other side of the story. Yes, absolutely. I can't agree more. All right. On that note, I think we spoke about a very interesting fact there, Pankaj, about the expectations and the pressure on Dhoni. So Amartya, you left us for a while, and we were discussing about the first Test match or the entire series to begin with. What I want to know from you, Amartya, is what are your expectations from Dhoni? Because last time when we lost to England 4-0, everybody went after Dhoni's head. They said, sack him, remove him, doesn't make any sense for him to be the captain when he can't score runs. So what are your expectations from Dhoni, and how much of pressure do you think he will be under? Will he be under more pressure than what Alistair Cook is at the moment, or will it be lesser than what he is right now?
Well, Imam, sorry, I was out for a while. I had a slight light cut out here. Coming back to your question, I think that will be. Yeah, so Dhoni will be under a lot of pressure. I think that because Dhoni has been a tremendous captain. He has got the ICC Champions Trophy last year. He led us to the World Cup triumph, And but he has been a very successful captain, and now he has got the most best test ratio as a test skipper for India. But the thing is that whenever Dhoni goes abroad, whether it's Australia, whether it's England, Dhoni is not at the top of his form. Even the last when we went there in the last year, we went there back around 4 years. So that time, there was a Rahul Dravid, there was a VVS Lakshman, there was there was Sachin Tendulkar, and there was Zahir Khan, and there was not this drama going around. But this time, a lot will depend on Dhoni, because he and Ishant Sharma are the only two players who have played above 50 tests. And so the team will look up to him and a lot will depend on him. It is Cheteshwar Pujara's first tour, it's Kohli's first tour as a test player, but Dhoni has been there twice before in 2007 and 2011. So team will look onto him, and he as a captain has to lead the team from the front.
Martya, have you been watching a lot of India Wants to Know lately?
Well, honestly,
like Arnab Goswami, with a lot of seriousness on your face. It's okay. We are going to do well in this series. Yeah, that's what we know. That's what we want. A smile. Okay, let me throw that interesting point to Mridul. Mridul, Amartya says a lot of pressure on the Dhoni and we didn't perform well. But do you really think a captain can do a lot when it comes to going abroad or winning matches? Because if you see in the matches we won, years ago, Dilip Nansarkar scored century after century, and the bowlers bowled really well, and that's where we beat England in England for the first time. And then later on, when under Ganguly, we were not able to win the series, but we did equalize the Test series. We came back 1-1 under his captainship by winning a match in Headingley with 2 spinners. So, do you think a captain has a major say in terms of the results, or is it just a mindset that okay, if we lose, sack the captain?
I think it's mindset because, and I would also like to say that before it would be about the team composition, how well Dhoni chooses the team, because we have seen Sri Lanka, they have played only Rangana Herath. England only has Moeen Ali in a spinner. So we will have to see if Dhoni really plays Ashwin and Jadeja in the same match. So it will be about his team lineup, and I think bowlers like Ishant Sharma, Ashwin, if they don't perform well, Dhoni should have sacked them, but he hasn't. So yeah, we can partly blame Dhoni for it, but not whole. But if we talk about Dhoni as a batsman, I think it's a high time in overseas test when he scored some runs. I think after 12-13 innings, he scored a half century in test. So it's high time for him to perform as a batsman. And I don't think we should sack him for only for captaincy.
Okay. Very good point. I think a question comes to mind. I don't want to create a controversy out here, but Pankaj, do you think Dhoni is good enough to be in the Test match team to begin with as a batsman, as a wicketkeeper batsman? Let me not talk about captaincy for a moment. Do you think he walks into this team, or do you think that someone else can take his place? Maybe, to give him a rest, not now. This is a hypothetical question which I want to ask you now that Mridul has raised it. So what are your thoughts about Mahendra Singh Dhoni as a wicketkeeper batsman abroad, not in India?
Well, abroad, I'm not sure that his performance kind of justifies his spot just as a purely as a batsman. But see, there are various parameters on which you have to judge MS. Reason being the calmness that he brings to the table, especially down the order. What he can do, whether he can stick around. He's not been able to do that. He's partly, to blame. Blame should be on him to a certain extent. So I completely agree with Mridul when he says that it's high time that Dhoni should prove his mettle as a batsman. You can't keep carrying him just for the fact that okay, he's cool, he can take pressure well, and see, because the fact of the matter is, as a captain, especially the kind of captain he is, he has a free reign over the management. I mean, I'm not trying to, I won't mince any words. I mean, that's the feeling I get, because I think he gets his picks. He gets his picks. Even I always get a feeling that I'm sure if there was a debate, he will always get his say. So he gets the players that he wants. So when that particular team does not do well, yes, the captain has to take the blame. which we never somehow assign on him for whatever reason, and he never takes it. The media doesn't blame him, and unfortunately, the mindset of the fans and the media in our country has been, especially related to cricket, somebody's not been performing, let's say, as a captain or whatever in a long time. Suddenly he comes and scores a 70 or 100, and then suddenly you give him another 10 test matches. And chalo theek hai, yaar, to ho jayega. Maybe another will come through. So I think it's we need to kind of start maturing in our mindset, how we look at our cricketers, how we look at our performances, and start expecting more. Just because he can't rest on his laurels, right? He's done great in a short format. He's brilliant. I mean, no doubt about that. He's one of the greats there, one of the greatest finisher probably of all times. But a long format abroad, I think he has a lot to prove. So uh, he should be under pressure. If he isn't, I think he should, as an athlete, as a sportsman, somebody who represents the country, he should put himself under pressure and make sure that if the opportunity comes that he has to bat, which I'm sure in England that will happen, so he should play. In India, there is no culture that I will step aside, barring one or two players, maybe like somebody like a Dravid, who is obviously a legend for all the right reasons. So I don't think that will happen, but I think he should assign blame on himself from now on, especially in series abroad, and start proving his mettle as a batsman. Otherwise, there are enough in the wings, yeah. There's Ridhiman Saha who's been doing so well. He's got oodles of talent. You're not giving him chances. I mean, what? So if Dhoni decides to play till he's 44, so Ridhiman Saha career is over even before it starts, right? So
Yeah.
even the selectors need to start thinking from that point of view. I hope they do. So I mean, yeah, that's what I feel on this particular issue.
Fantastic. Thank you, Pankaj. And while you were speaking, there are a couple of veterans of the show who joined us. To begin with, our musician, our smiling assassin, as I like to call him, Keshav has joined in. Hi, Keshav. How have you been, buddy?
Yeah, I'm good, man. You say, how are you?
Good, good, fantastic. It's like that they say, as they say, there I durustai at the nick of time where we're discussing about who would do well in this upcoming series, who pressure किस पे ज़्यादा है, bowlers पे या batsmen पे, and what about Mahendra Singh Dhoni? All these topics were being discussed till now. So glad that you joined in, Keshav. Let me quickly check if Puneet also joined. Puneet, are you there? All right, Puneet seems to be having some issues. So let me go straight to you, Keshav, about the India-England series. Yesterday we won a 3-day game, not as convincingly as we would have liked to, but a series beginning next week, a big series, as we have already written in our group chat. There's a big summer, the first series of the big summer. So what are your thoughts about it, and who do you think will do well, and who's under more pressure, England or India?
I think both the teams are under pressure. Both the teams are kind of in the same situation. If you see, both are in kind of a rebuilding phase. Probably I would say 60-40 because England are still a newer side than India, because some of the Indian players are having the experience of playing in South Africa and New Zealand earlier this year. So and looking at England side, I think they would be feeling more pressure after losing to Sri Lanka, because that was a series they were ought to win, but somehow they just let it go off their hand. And the way their new players, Robson, Moeen Ali, and Palance have come into this side, and they all have scored a century in the last series in only the second or third games. So I think that's a positive sign for England. So they would be looking for more friendly conditions and providing a little bit kind of alien conditions to Indian players. And as far as the Indian side is concerned, I think it would be the bowlers who would be under pressure, because I don't think Indian batsmen did that bad on the South Africa and New Zealand tours. It was the bowlers who didn't really capitalize on the situations that the batsmen had put them into. If you remember the Johannesburg Test, India were in a really good position, but the bowlers didn't really capitalize on that, and the batsmen did their job. Yeah, I mean, and as far as MS Dhoni is concerned, of course, he would be under pressure, but not as pressure as what Alistair Cook is under. I think everyone has criticized him so much that I think if England lose this series, he might have to resign as a captain. So yeah. So and of course he's not getting runs as well. So let's see. I mean, it should be an interesting series, and India is never going to have a better chance than this to win in England.
So,
Okay.
Imam, I have
Yeah.
this question for Keshav. Keshav, you mentioned that if he's been criticized so much, Alistair Cook, that if he loses this series, he should resign. My question is, conversely, if India loses this Test series, should Dhoni resign, or should he be dropped as the captain of the Test squad?
I would say that I think at this point of time, India doesn't possess an alternate captain because World Cup is around the corner. And
This excuse has been there for way too long. You can always make somebody check somebody is not contributing. Let me just add another angle to it, Keshav, for you. That India loses and Dhoni doesn't do anything with the bat. Tell me then, what happens?
I don't think that's gonna happen. We are not talking about someone like Joginder Sharma here who doesn't really can do anything. I mean, Dhoni has the talent, and why won't he do anything? I mean, that's the
I think Mridul was just giving us some stats on Dhoni's overseas Test performances. Mridul, do you still have those?
I think he hasn't scored a century in overseas test. He scored only one century in Pakistan, that too back in 2005, 2006. So it's around 8 years Dhoni hasn't scored a century in overseas conditions. And he has scored like a half century in New Zealand. He struggled in South Africa. And he has also not scored enough half centuries in overseas conditions. So for me, Dhoni in Test, he should definitely perform in this series, or he should definitely be dropped because his overseas performance is just like Ravichandran Ashwin.
Okay, all right. I was afraid while I was picking this question up when I spoke about Dhoni. I know that we are going to talk at length about this. And Pankaj, I think you've asked the question to a Dhoni or like a person who really is fond of Dhoni, as I am. And I really and all of us, somewhere we respect him a lot. But you have to speak performances, and when it comes to Indian team, no one is bigger than the game. So I think we have to ensure Dhoni, and I completely agree with you, Pankaj. If in case that happens, then I think Mahendra Singh Dhoni should consider his future himself in Test matches and not leave the decisions up to the selectors.
well, Imam, I would say that even if India or MS Dhoni fails in this series, I think the last chance where we should finally feel okay. Enough of Dhoni's captaincy in Test matches overseas. I think that point should come after the 4 Tests in Australia later this year.
No,
So
it's not. See, Keshav, I get you, and please don't get me wrong. I'm a massive Dhoni fan myself, especially for obvious reasons in the shorter format of the game. But I'm not saying that that just because he lost a series outside abroad, he should be dropped. My concern is that he's not proving his mettle as a batsman.
Right.
Somebody who contributes probably to a winning cause, or maybe to salvage a draw for the team. He's not. So that is something where I think that if he fails as a batsman as well, regardless. See, I'm not saying that okay, if we win the series or draw the series and Dhoni fails as a batsman, we should keep him. My point is he needs to prove himself as a batsman. His captaincy is fine. I mean, given the kind of team he has, new talent, inexperience, and all that, and alien conditions for everybody. So I don't expect a miracle from Dhoni, right, as a captain. But as a batsman, somebody who's played a decade of international cricket, who's rated so highly in 2 other formats of the game, it's high time that he proves his mettle as a batsman in Test. So if he doesn't do that, then I think all these permutation and combination, or rather just simply sack him, drop him as a batsman in Test. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I think first of all, like Dhoni comes 5 down, he comes number 7, so don't expect heaps of centuries from him. And as far as the last England tour is concerned, I think Dhoni got 3-4 half centuries where people like Lakshman and Tendulkar didn't even get that. I think he was among Indian run scorer. I think he was in the.
He got only 2 half centuries, and his average was around 30 runs.
Yeah, so I think people like someone like Lakshman or even for that case Gambhir or Sehwag also didn't get that.
And
So
that's why they're not in the team.
That's why they are sacked and they are retired. Some players have retired.
yeah, of course, those players retired because half of them retired because
My
of their age.
only concern with Dhoni is that his average in overseas test is very low. He averages
Okay.
around 20 in West Indies, around 30 in England, 20-25 in South Africa once. His South Africa tour, the last tour was not good. He scored only 1 half century in New Zealand, that too after very long time. He only scored that 200 runs in, I guess, Chennai against Australia. That was his peak form. So I am a
Okay, like
big
if
Dhoni fan. I
if we
think-
start
alright,
picking,
guys,
I think if we start picking the innings, then you should remember the 2007 England tour where Dhoni actually scored a 91 something and saved a test
Yeah.
match for India.
right, okay.
That's
Listen,
once in a blue moon for Dhoni test matches overseas.
Time out. Before I become the imam of Big Boss, say time out. So I want to quickly jump in there and ask yes, this discussion about Dhoni can go on for ages, as we all know, because his performances, and both sides are absolutely right. Keshav is right in a way that, he comes down at 7, but the argument against it will be Haddon, Pryor, and all those people also come at 7, but they contribute. All right, let's keep the topic for some other day. My question to Amartya, who's looking, he's not even looking into the system because he knows, okay, there's an argument, let it go on. So Amartya, just to bring you back out of your sleep, my question to you is, we just now discussed about Alistair Cook, and Keshav said that if he loses, he's out of his job as a captain. Don't you think that this is a added motivation for Cook and England team to do well, and whatever path they have done by losing to Australia 5-0 and by losing to Sri Lanka 1-0, they can come out and become again the same old people, the fantastic players, if they beat India again with a convincing margin. So do you think that would be on the top of the mind of Alistair Cook right now?
Yeah, definitely. I think that Alistair Cook, after 2 shocking series defeats, he will be looking forward to, just grill Indian team after a while, because Indian team, as everybody just said, that Indian team is pretty young, and it is the lack of experience exists. The Dravid Sultan, that might help the batsmen, but batting is not the concern. It's the bowling which is the concern. Last time it was RP Singh was called from India, and he was lack of match practice that was caused. But now the thing is different. We have got some who can bowl 40, and you will like England will capitalize opportunity to shocking after that.
Okay, looks like we have lost.
So I hope that
Go on, Amartya.
that's it.
I think his internet is a little intermittent.
Yeah,
So
there is some issue. All right, so what I think what Amartya was trying to say, as we all heard, is about their performances. I think they would definitely try to do very well and take the bull by the horns, as they say. All right. In the meantime, let me quickly go to Puneet and do a quick check whether he is with us. Hi, Puneet.
Am I audible to you guys?
Puneet.
Hello.
All right. Puneet seems to be having some issues. No problem. We'll try to get him back online again. All right. Mridul, you were talking a lot of stats, buddy, and I think first of all, very good job in combining those stats and doing so well in that regard. So, looking at those stats and looking at the number of performances, as you mentioned, by Indian batsmen, I want to know a team combination of yours which you will go in with the first Test match. When I say team combination, I want to know 5-2-4 or 6-1-4. How is it going to be? And also, which batsman do you want to see in the first Test match, taking into fact the kind of performances in the first 2 warm-up games? So, Mridul, what will be your pick?
I think our middle order is pretty much settled with Virat Kohli, Rahane, Pujara, and Rohit Sharma.
Okay.
I think my main concern would be bowling. We have been playing with 2 spinners in Ashwin and Jadeja in overseas. Jadeja is performing average, but Ashwin is not performing really good with ball. So I would like to see one spinner, and I would think to include Stuart Binney in the team if pitch looks too suited for him, because he's good with bat. He scored 80 odd runs in the previous practice match, and he took 1 2 crucial wickets of the set batsmen in that pitch in which our main bowlers were struggling. So I think I would like to include Stuart Binney in the team, and with Stuart Binney, Bhuvneshwar Kumar, Mohammad Shami, and Varun Aaron or Pankaj Singh. And I would like to go with 4 pacers.
Okay. All right. So who would be your openers?
Openers, I would like to go with Dhawan and Gambhir, but I think Dhawan has injured something, and so I don't want Murli Vijay for the opening. I want Dhawan and Gambhir, then Pujara, Kohli, Rahane, Rohit Sharma, and then Dhoni.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Pradip. Let me throw the same question to Pankaj. Pankaj, who would be your pick? Will Dhawan be still opening the batting? Just to give you a bit of a heads up, he did not do too well in the warm-up games. He just got a 50 in one of those 4 innings which he got to play, and remaining innings he got out. He was hit in the arm for in the first time he got retired hurt, and then after that he failed consistently. So would you pick in Gambhir, and who would be your 4 picks as the bowlers?
Okay, to start this, I want to say I want to go batting heavy into
Okay.
the first Test match. See, the reason being, I'm not expecting a win in the first one. The idea, India's weakest point is they don't start very well, especially abroad. The starting of the series is always screwed up for them. So the idea is salvage the first match as a draw, and the only way you can do that is your batsman coming to the rescue. So I want the team to be batting heavy, and I want Dhoni to ensure that he picks batsmen who are in form, not on reputation. Somebody like a Dhawan, you guys are saying he's not doing well. Plus, I think Vidal just mentioned there might be an injury. So I don't think it makes sense to just take him because he's low on confidence. If he gets out early, then added pressure. So I want somebody who's stable. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not also very keen on Murli Vijay. But Imam, would you just give me the options? Who are the opening options right now? I'll just tell you my pick.
So it's Murli Vijay, Gautam Gambhir, and Shikhar Dhawan. There are 3 options.
Well, see, there's not much of a choice now, Imam, is it? So, if that is the case, then yeah, in an ideal scenario, I agree with Mridul. I would go with Gambhir and Shikhar Dhawan. But if that's not happening and Shikhar is not well, then probably uh, Gambhir and Murli Vijay. But regardless of that, as I said, I want to be batting heavy. So Stuart Binney is crucial to my scheme of things, especially in the first match, because he brings this added element of being a sort of a genuine all-rounder. I'm not counting his performance in Bangladesh, what he did. That was something else. But having said that, he's a decent bat. I'm not saying he's the best fielder, but he's okay. And he can do decently with the ball. See, because spinners don't get too much purchase on English soil anyways in the first couple of days. So they are pretty much your stock bowlers, unless and until somebody is really good with guile and flight, so only then they can do something. But uh, Ashwin abroad in that kind of condition, I'm not sure he's suited. So I will not even play him. I would take Stuart Binney, Jadeja for sure as my only spinner, and then I will not pick Ishant Sharma. No, I love the guy to death. He's a sweetheart. He's a really cool kid, but I won't pick him. Sorry, Ishant, if you ever get to watch this show. But I won't pick him. I would take Shami. I would take Bhuvi, and if the added pace of Varun Aaron on a bouncy track, maybe. So I want to pick 4 pacers. Who's the other option? Yeah, 4 pacer. No?
Pankaj Singh and Ishwar Pandey.
Pankaj. See, I have not seen much of Pankaj Singh, so I don't know.
Actually, he was like pick of the bowlers in warm-up matches. Like he was the only bowler
Just
bowling
a quick
according to the
question, Mridul.
scorecard.
What pace was he bowling at?
I don't know because it wasn't broadcasted.
I will
He
answer,
was. If,
I will answer it, Pankaj. It's 82 to 80 to 82
and
kilometers,
Ishwar Pandey?
80 to 82 miles. Ishwar
Both
Pandey
of-
was bowling around 85.
Oh, then I would go with Ishwar Pandey then. Even though Pankaj Singh has height with him, I'm not see I'm not picking Pankaj in my squad because I haven't seen enough of his bowling. so it won't be fair for me to just say, okay, ye lamba hai, maybe kar lega. I've seen enough of Ishwar Pandey. I think he has control, and if he can generate some sort of pace and extract some bounce, he could be a handful. So I would probably go with Ishwar Pandey.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Pankaj. And I heard Puneet in bits and pieces. Puneet, are you with us?
Can you hear me, guys?
Oh, yes, finally we do. Before we
Okay.
met in the next hangout, you are just in the nick of time. I've made it to the show. How are you doing, Puneet?
Sorry, I cannot get you.
So how are you doing, and where have you been?
It's amazing, and I was, on some summer vacation. I was in Manali also.
Yeah.
That's why I wasn't able to join
Okay,
you
I
guys.
know that. I was telling Pankaj the same thing. Okay, straight into the question. England-India series. Whom will you back, and who's under more pressure? What is your team combination?
Actually, what I believe, both teams are under pressure because both teams haven't, done so far that great, which they are known to. But I possibly feel England is more under pressure than India because India is still feeling a little slight chance that they can pull this off. And because we have seen England in recent time, they are not doing well. They have, been beaten by Sri Lanka, and especially Lester Cook is struggling with his back, and that's what I feel, going to somewhere haunt England. And if you will ask about the team, then
Somewhere hurting. Okay.
then hello, hello.
Yeah, go on. Puneet, we can hear you.
The team with the team, as Pankaj was saying, I would go with four pacers, and pacers would be Shami for sure, Bhuvi for sure, and then Varun Aaron and Ishwar Pandey, and then fifth bowler. If there is a chance, then it would be Ravindra Jadeja, or then seven batsmen can be good, but I think five bowlers should be there inside.
Okay.
And batsmen first, as we have seen in the past, Dhawan, Rohit Sharma, and Dhoni, Virat, Raina. Oh, sorry, Raina. So what's that Titan guy? I forgot.
Pujara.
Yeah, Rajasthan opener, which was Rahane. Yeah,
Good.
Rahane. That's my pick. That's my pick for England.
Puneet looks like you're in still the after effects of the long trip which you have been to.
Yeah. Actually, actually, I have been, traveling so far, and so much travel around, so that's why I'm a little bit dizzy. So
We
I
will
beg
have
your
a
pardon.
hangout on Puneet's excursion and outing very soon.
Yeah,
Let me quickly ask
Imam, I have a feeling it's not his trips because of the trips that he is so dizzy. I think he must have smoked pot or something. Being in Manali, ganja PK, he might be high somewhere.
by it wasn't possible because I was with my wife. That's why it wasn't possible. But थोड़ा travel किया इसीलिए थोड़ा सा.
Imam, let's get back to cricket.
Sure. And guys, audience, you did not hear anything. We were just speaking cricket, okay? Alright, let me quickly go back to Keshav and find out his team combination. Keshav, you mentioned quite interesting facts when you spoke. So, really want to know who exactly would you pick in your first 11, and what would be your team combination and your thoughts about Stuart Binney. And it's amazing what one series does. Just Pankaj said, yes, it's not about the Bangladesh series. He wants to pick him purely as an all-rounder, but most of us, like Mridul was saying, that he wants to see Stuart Binney in the team. Most of us discussed and had raised eyebrows when he was picked in the 15 in the party to go to England, because he's invited. What was he doing in the Test team? So, what is your pick, and do you think you agree with?
He's somebody
Pankaj?
in form and high on confidence. I mean, that's
High
why
on
I picked him.
confidence.
Sorry.
Okay, perfect. So, yes, Keshav, your thoughts.
See, whatever we talk here, Dhoni always rules out all the permutations and combinations, and he always plays the same 11, which he keeps repeating. So,
Correct.
no way how Ishant Sharma did in these two practice games. He was hackled and jackled, but still he would play the first test. I can write and I can do my signature on that. First of all, I would tell you the actual 11 who are gonna play.
Sure.
It would be Murli Shikhar Dhawan, Cheteshwar Pujara, Virat Kohli, Rahane, Rohit Sharma, MS Dhoni, Ravindra Jadeja, and then Bhuvneshwar Kumar, Mohammad Shami, and Ishant Sharma. Now, what I would want to play is in place of Ishant Sharma, any of the other bowler would work. any of the other bowler, be it Ramesh Pawar, any of the other bowler would work. And and as far as openers are concerned, I think they didn't do that bad in overseas tour earlier this year. So let's give them another go. I don't think Gambhir would be getting a chance in the first game. So apart from that, the middle order looks settled, and I don't think Dhoni is a guy who would risk going with 6 batsmen and 5 bowlers, or maybe one all-rounder in Stuart Finney. So yeah, it would be the 7-4 combination.
Fantastic. And Ramesh, if you're watching our show, Keshav loves you. All of us love you. I think you're a great example that even though you put on so much of weight, you can still represent India. So Keshav, don't be naughty. Okay, so yes, the 7-4 combination is what Keshav would go in for. Mridul, you gave your combination as well. But let me ask you a question, a tricky question. Name me 2 batsmen and 2 bowlers who would definitely shine in this test series. It's a long series, 5 matches. It will test a lot of patience.
Mridul, pick 2 England batsmen and pick 2 English bowlers. Iman did not specify.
No. Let me specify. I am looking for 2 Indian batsmen and 2 Indian bowlers. Who you think will really shine for India, Mridul?
If we talk about Indian batsmen, then Cheteshwar Pujara for sure.
Okay.
And then I would like to go with Ajinkya Rahane or Virat Kohli.
Okay.
And if we talk about bowlers, our bowlers, I think Bhuvneshwar Kumar and Shami Ahmed. Those 2 are main streamline bowlers, and I think conditions would suit them. I think James Anderson and Bhuvneshwar Kumar are same type of bowlers, but it all comes to speed. They all love cloudy conditions. So I think clouds will help them. Yeah, my pick for 2 bowlers is Shami and Bhuvneshwar Kumar. I really think they should perform well if they have to gel in the Indian cricket team. And for batsmen, Pujara and Rahane or Kohli.
Okay, fantastic. And same question to Puneet. 2 batsmen, 2 bowlers, Puneet, for you. Who would you definitely feel do well in this series?
From Indian side, Bhuvneshwar Kumar and Shami. And batsman would be Kohli and Rahane. What I believe.
Kohli and Rahane. Fantastic. Pankaj, not English batsmen and not English bowlers. Indian batsmen and Indian bowlers, 2 from each set.
Yeah, it's not a big pool that we have to pick from, because knowing the confidence levels and the experience of these guys, so I think it's a easy pick that I would go with Kohli and Pujara. Pujara for his class. I'm just a little worried about Virat because he's not been in the greatest of touch of late. But I think this would be a great opportunity for him, not to cement his place. His place is more or less cemented with JK Cement or whatever, but just to prove that he's back. There was a time where he looked that he just would not get out. He was the miracle man. I used to call him. कुछ भी करा लो उससे. So I think he wants to get back to that, and sooner the better for Indian cricket, because he's one guy, when he's high on confidence, he'll give you performances in all formats. So he has the technique, he has the skill, he has the flair, and he has the temperament. So I really look forward. He's the kind of batsman who can win you games. Cheteshwar Pujara is the kind of guy who will save you games. Remember. So there is a huge difference between these 2. But I look forward to these 2 succeeding in England. And if they do, India has a chance to probably draw the series.
Okay.
And bowling, you said, well, Bhuvi is great. I mean, I love the guy. He's a great swinger of the ball. Conditions would be suiting him. But I think his lack of pace would be a factor. A big factor in getting people out versus containing runs. I think with his swing and guile and everything, he might be able to curtail runs. If he gets wicket, I have a feeling he will get wickets. If he gets the new ball earlier, he'll do it then. Once the ball gets old, I think he'll only contain because his line and length is good, small amount of movement. I think Shami, because he has pace and bounce, and England would be a great condition for him to give us his exploits. So I look forward to Shami performing really well. And the other guy, I look forward to, and I hope he succeeds, would be Ishwar Pandey whenever he does get a chance. Because I am, every time I see him, because when I heard about this guy, it was like he's fast, he's pacey, he's this and that. So much was being said and written about Ishwar Pandey. Obviously, I didn't get to see the pace in the IPL, but what I saw, I liked. So I saw that he had control, and he's not like he's like military medium. He's like medium pace. If he can just add little more pace to his bowling with that control, I think he might be successful in it. So I would look forward to that.
Perfect, perfect. And Pankaj, interesting that you mentioned Virat Kohli's form. If you remember when we were having hangouts in between IPL, I said that I'm happy that Virat is failing the IPL because it's very important he scores runs in England and Australia when we go there. So I hope that happens. He failed in the IPL, and I really wish and hope pray for the sake of Indian fans and Indian cricket team that he scores a lot of runs and make us proud and hopefully win the series. So before we end this topic, Keshav, I want to quickly take picks from you, and let's then summarize and we'll move on to the next topic. So two batsmen whom we watch out for the Indian team and two bowlers.
Uh, I think the batsmen I would pick three. Of course, Cheteshwar Pujara and Virat Kohli, like they are the backbone of that batting lineup. And the third one, I would be really wanting him to make some good amount of runs would be Ajinkya Rahane. If you remember, he made his debut in England only in 2011 at T20 game. So I think he would love these conditions and prove his mettle. And as far as the bowlers are concerned, of course, Bhuvneshwar Kumar. But I am a little skeptical about when the ball gets old and when there's not much of a assistance in the pitch. Then I want to see how does he perform in that situation. Apart from that, it would be of course Mohammad Shami and the other bowlers are also there to kind of get a place in the 11 because it's a long series and Indians have taken I think 6 bowlers. So I think at some point of time everyone would get a chance to play. So yeah, I mean since Mohammad Shami and Bhuvneshwar are frontline bowlers, so of course a little bit more pressure would be on their shoulders.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much. Interesting guys that yeah, Pankaj, please.
Imam, did you realize one thing that in all the picks from everyone,
No spin.
Dhoni was not even remotely close to anybody's picks. Yes, he
Right.
might be batting late and everything, but he's the guy who has the most experience. He is one of the greats of the modern game in the short format. You expect some sort of some semblance of sanity to prevail with him towards the later part of the innings, that he will hold the innings together. But no, see, and Keshav, who took not 2 but 3 picks, still did not pick him.
Yeah, that is because I cannot put more pressure on Dhoni by telling one.
Oh man,
Yes, yes.
that is absolutely
We
right.
appreciate
ये
that.
ये सीधा धोनी के पास जाएगा ये वीडियो सीधा धोनी के पास जाएगा
Perfect, perfect. All right, guys. Thank you so much for that. Inputs about the series. I'm not going to ask you the result because it will be too early, and it will be again, as Keshav said, it will be if Indian team is watching, which they would surely be tuned in right now. We will add more pressure onto them if we say we're going to win 2-1 or 3-1 or whatever it is. So, what I'll say, with all the inputs which are coming in, I think we're really hopeful. All of us really wish the Indian team all the very best to do well in the upcoming series. All right. Having said that, we've discussed the India-England series all along, and there is one statement which I read during the IPL when the IPL was happening, that legends never retire, that they live on, and how true that saying is, because tomorrow 2 legends of the game who retired from the game, but will never retire from people's memory. Sachin Ramesh Tendulkar, and Shane Keith Wan will be face to face in one of a kind of a match which is being played to commemorate the MCC spirit of the game, or MCC completing a lot of years. A game which we all are looking forward to tomorrow, which will happen in England. So really want to quickly touch base upon that, and 2 teams filled with superstars, former and current playing superstars. So I want to know from each one of you of what are your thoughts about the game, and who do you think will be on the winning side in a 50-over contest. Let me start with Mridul. Mridul, are you looking forward to? I think that's a stupid question to ask. I'm sure you are looking forward to it. Who do you look forward to see more? Is it Shane Warne or Sachin Tendulkar?
Sorry, Bambai, I didn't get your question.
No problem. My question was, who are you looking forward to play more? Is it Sachin Tendulkar or Shane Warne?
I think all of them, because in Sachin's team it's Lara, Rahul Dravid, and Daniel Vittori, Aaron Finch, and in Shane Warne's team it's Murli Dharan. So I think I want everyone to play. I want to see Lara and Sachin batting together and Murli and Shane Warne bowling together. It would be a great contest to watch, and I think it would be first time to watch some this kind of thing. I think Virendra Sehwag and Adam Gilchrist are opening, and Brett Lee and Omar Gould bowling them together. It would be a treat to watch. I really want that every player, every legend who has retired should play and should definitely show their class.
Okay. Riddle, you mentioned the first time is happening. In fact, it's happening for the second time. The first time when it was planned, everything was put together, and the rain played a spoil sport. The match got washed out without a ball being bowled. That was a pity, to say the least. Keshav, what are your thoughts about tomorrow's game, and who do you think will come out on the winning side? Because rest assured, both of these gentlemen might have been retired. They might be not been playing competitive cricket any longer, but neither of them would like to lose. So, who do you think will do really well tomorrow?
I think on paper, the MCC, the Sachin side, look a little bit stronger because the batting looks a tad weaker. If you look at the Shane Warne side, the bowling is absolutely amazing. But I would give the edge to the Sachin's side, the MCC 11. And of course, everyone is looking forward to this game, and it would be great to watch. And not just Sachin and Shane Warne who have retired. There are a lot of other players who have retired, like Rahul Dravid, who's already there as bowling a batting consultant for India. He would be taking a little bit of time to go to Lords and play. And one question which comes to my mind regarding this match is, why is this match kept from 5th to 9th July? Because 9th July, India's first test starts. So I think if those two matches clashes, I mean, it would be kind of a dilemma for the fans, like which one to watch if that game is at a really kind of a situation where the match is kind of in a really good position where kind of Sri Lanka England ending. So I think the timing is a little bit of a problem here.
No, Keshav, I think if my understanding is right, it's a 50-over game which will be played only tomorrow. It will finish off tomorrow, not a 4-day game.
Yeah.
That's a 1-day game which is going to be played. So I think, if that was a test match, I completely agree. No one would have watched the India-England match. So
sorry, I really thought it's a test. I really thought it's a 5-day game.
But it's a good thought which you have put in everybody's mind who's watching. Imagine, guys, these guys playing for 5 days. Nothing like it.
I don't think they have the stamina for it anymore.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. The Lara will, retire after 2 days. He will say,
Puneet, yes, I was about to come to you, Puneet. Yeah, go on. Your thoughts about tomorrow's game, and who are you looking forward to? Who do you think will come on the winning side?
Actually, what I'm feeling as Keshav said, but I don't feel that Sachin has that much great batting side. I was wondering because Sachin has Chandrapal and Rahul Dravid, Aaron Finch. But if you will, come to the side, he has more bowlers than batsmen. Brett Lee, Chris Reed, Sean Tate, Daniel Vittori, and Umar Gul, Syed Ajmal. So I was surprised by watching the side that he has chosen more bowlers than batsmen.
No, actually, Puneet, I was talking about that because then I thought it's a test match. If you talk about that, the batsmen are more suited to that kind of.
Then it looks good.
Yeah,
but
now since it's a 1-day game, it makes more sense to have Afridi and Gilchrist in your side.
Yeah, and other side,
Gilchrist, Kevin Peterson, Sehwag, Yuvraj. I think that team has more explosive batsmen.
Yeah, that looks more 1-day
players who, and players who are
over team.
Mridul, रुक जा मेरे भाई. मेरे को मालूम है, you guys, as you see, Mridul is more excited about tomorrow's game. Puneet, yes,
yeah.
Puneet.
Actually, I was about to say that Shane Warne team looks more 50-over team than Sachin's team. And we know that Sachin team has more bowling power. Actually, if you will see, Shane Todd, Omar Gul, Syed Ajmal, Bradley, Daniel, they are good bowlers. But on the other side, they have some good batting side, like as we mentioned, Vinder Sehwag, Yuvraj Singh, Tamim Iqbal, Adam Gilchrist, Colin Good, Shahid Afridi. They are all one day and also in 2020 batsmen. When what I'm looking, it would be good contest between a bowling side, which would have been Shane Warne. But right now, I feel Sachin team is a bowling side, with, good bowling attack. It would be matched with the good bowling attack against good batting. What I'm
Absolutely.
looking for.
Very
And
well summed up, Puneet. Very well summed up. Thank you so much for that. Pankaj, I know that you're tired. I know you want to take a night's rest now. But before you do that, we'll not allow you to do that right now. We would know, we find out who exactly are your picks. So who are you looking more forward to watch, batting or bowling wise in tomorrow's game? And who do you think will come on the winning side? Which no one answered so far. Everybody diplomatic. So what is your pick?
Okay, there was a question that you asked first when this conversation started regarding this particular match, and now you're asking me which side would win. My answer to both is the same, and it is Shane Warne.
Okay.
Your first question was who do you want to see more, Shane Warne or
Right.
Tendulkar? I think I've seen enough of Tendulkar because अभी तक तो खेल ही रहा था वो, ठीक है? And not that as much as we all love Sachin and whatever he's done for the side, बहुत खेल लिया वो, हमने बहुत देखा उसे. Shane Warne has been missing in action, and what he's brought to the table, I don't think anybody has. So I'm looking forward to Shane Warne perform. Plus, he's a colorful character. He's a joy to watch. And then after hearing the sides that Puneet mentioned and everything, in my mind, I don't have a doubt that Shane Warne's side is a lot stronger. And on top of that, my assumption here, and please correct me if I'm wrong, that these two legends would be the captain of their respective sides, right?
Yeah.
So Shane Warne any given day and twice on a Sunday is a better captain than Sachin Tendulkar could ever be. Okay, so it's for me it's a very easy pick. I think Shane Warne's side should emerge victorious in tomorrow's match, Imam.
Okay. Thank you so much, Pankaj, for answering both the questions. For whom we're looking forward to, and I think we as
Imam
always.
bhai, Imam bhai, I would like to add something. I think
Yeah, please.
Sachin was thinking that his team will, his team has some good bowling attack, and they will get a Shane Warne team out 100 or 100 or 120 runs, and he will score it by his own, and that
Or
will
may
be.
or maybe Sachin would have also misunderstood like me and thought it's a test match.
That's a good one. That's a good one. So I think just to clear everyone's mind, I think guys with this conversation, the audience would be confused. Guys, let me clear it out. It's a 50-over game which will happen tomorrow, and it will begin at 3 p.m. Check your local listings on which channels it's going to be broadcasted because I'm not going to tell you. So you
Star
have to do
Sports.
that for yourself. We are not giving audience the answer, Mridul. See, you're
We will
spoiling the fun.
not tell the audience that it will be on Star Sports. We're not going to say that.
Absolutely. Now that Mridul has said it, it's going to be on Star. So yeah, it's almost towards the end of the show, and as always happens, we've exceeded 4 o'clock, and we keep up our consistency levels as always pretty high. Before we go, there's one quick series which is going to come up this Sunday, the first ODI between Sri Lanka and South Africa. Keshav, you're going to say something about the series which is coming up?
Yeah, I think this is the Sri Lanka is the only place where South Africa actually lost an away series last time when they lost an away series. That was in 2006. So that would be a great opportunity for them to correct that result. And under a new captain, Hashim Amla, because Jack Callis and Graham Smith are not there anymore. So and of course they start with the one days before the test matches. So it would be a great series, and given that now Sri Lanka has won a series in England, won in every format in England, so that maybe put Sri Lanka as a little more favourites than South Africa. But it would be a great series to watch, I'm sure.
Fantastic. Mridul, quick thoughts on of the series?
Yeah, I think this series would be great as Hashim Amla was struggling with ODI form, but now in the tour match he has scored a century. South Africans very easily defeated the Sri Lankans board 11 by 100 odd runs. So I think the main concern for South Africa should be their consistency of their spinners, Imran Tahir and Aaron Fangisu. I would like to see how they bowl in that conditions, as they would as these conditions would really suit them, and how Sri Lankans would face them. Actually, it would be quite easy for Sri Lankans to face this spinner. So what they actually do, I want to see this.
Hmm. Yes, I think it's going to be a tough series played out between two tough teams. Puneet, quick thoughts on what you're going to think, what your result is for the South Africa Sri Lanka series, and quick thoughts about the series.
I will be very quick. I agree with Keshav. That's it.
That was the fastest answer ever.
Yeah, fastest on the history of Friday Hangouts. That was the quickest. You in fact you haven't beaten, I guess, Samkit, who keeps his answer very short. Unlike me and Keshav, who take a bit of a time to answer our questions.
Actually, I have to say the same thing. And I said, I thought I should say with the end.
Fantastic. Thank you, Puneet. That was in the best interest of our Friday Hangout for today. Guys, we are almost out of time, and we discussed a lot of cricket. There was a dull time in between. There was no cricket to watch, and we cricket lovers feel really down when there is not a lot of cricket. But it's time to wake up. It's India Tour of England beginning next week. There is this great match happening tomorrow, and as Keshav rightly spoke about a few moments ago, Sri Lanka, South Africa. Happening this Sunday. So I think a lot of cricket.
And Imam,
yeah, Keshav.
New Zealand versus West Indies T20s are also there.
Yes, Saturdays, but those are happening at a time where we will be deep in our sleeps. So I think I wish both West Indies and New Zealand all the best.
No, a true cricket fan would still wake up and watch it.
Yeah.
Correct. But the Indian fan at the moment can't think of anything else apart from India, England. That's what we discussed today, guys. So next week we are going to be back, same time, same place, in your living room. So please stay tuned and join us.
Can I just say a response to
Keshav?
Keshav? Keshav says a true cricket fan gets up at that time and watches it. What I just want to say, a smart, cricket fan just puts that on record and watches it the next day whenever he does get time.
No.
Actually, it clashes with FIFA World Cup, so I don't think we will be able to watch it. It's around 11:30.
Imam, I just have a message for the viewers. I was just checking the insights of the local cricket page and everything, and I saw that the activity the interactivity has gone down a little. So is now, as Imam has rightly said, guys, a lot of action. I know this was a dull period, not too much action happening. Now India is back in the midst of things, and so are the other teams. So come back. You've had your share of relaxation. I assume you're geared up and raring to go. So come back to Circle of Cricket, and let's keep the conversation flowing.
Absolutely. So you heard it.
And Pankaj, as far as my statement was concerned, I didn't say a true cricket fan would get up and watch it. A true cricket fan would just watch it. He won't sleep. वो उसका build up चलती रहती है दिमाग में. Oh my God, this T20 is happening. I won't sleep.
You're not helping yourself. You said that. Live by it.
No, I didn't say.
This conversation going.
I just said a true cricket fan would watch it. I didn't say get up.
Correct. Keshav sahiye, and I think, guys, we will go on. This is what Friday Hangout is all about. It's about discussing cricket, and a lot of cricket. So that's it for today. I think thank you so much for tuning in. Let me quickly thank our buddies who do not wake up, who don't have to wake up because we played at a time where everyone is waking up. So thank you so much, Keshav, for joining in. Thank you, Mridul. Thank you so much, buddy. Thank you, Puneet. Puneet has been wearing that Mr. India clock all day. We couldn't see him, but we were able to hear him. So thank you so much for your thoughts, Puneet. And thank you so much to Arvind. There is Arvind on air who does a lot of stuff behind the scenes. So we have to thank him as well. Thank you so much, Arvind. And Pankaj, thank you so much for not just today's opportunity, but the whole concept of Friday Hangout. Because without this, we would have died for sure. So thank you so much.
And I would like this opportunity to thank RJ Imam Sharif for coming and hosting our show. Sir, thank you so much.
बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया. उसी बात पे हम लेते हैं एक बड़ा ब्रेक और हम मिलेंगे अगले हफ्ते. Please stay tuned to Friday Hangout, and we love you guys. So stay tuned to cricket. Lot of action coming up. We will see you next week. Bye bye.